It's interesting. You got everybody out there, the NBC and elsewhere to drive-by media. I didn't know. Nobody knew about Matt Lauer. We're stunned, we're shocked, and yet it hasn't taken them long to find all these old clips of Lauer sexually harassing, sexually suggesting, taunting, what have you. I mean, they're all over the place now. How could they not have known? Anyway, folks, great to have you here. Rush Limbaugh and the broadcast week continues. Here we are on Thursday. It's great to have you. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbo@eibnet.us. Nancy Pelosi has called for John Conyers to resign. Now, I want to put on my liberal progressive media hat and tell you what this headline would be if it were a Republican woman suggesting that some guy resign. White woman of privilege tells hospitalized black icon to resign. If the news media treated Pelosi the way we get treated, white woman of privilege tells hospitalized black icon, perhaps in bad shape, to quit and get out. And here's another thing to consider. You cannot ask the black guy to step down and not the white guy. That's Franken. It's exactly right, Mr. Sturdley. She's not calling on Franken to resign. She'd probably say, well, he's in the Senate. I don't have anything to say about what happens in the Senate. I'm in the House. But it doesn't matter. If a white woman of privilege, and believe me, Nancy Pelosi has a lot of privilege out there, is going to tell some poor hospitalized black guy. Did you hear what James Clyburn said? James Clyburn, I don't believe this. All the accusers are white. Who elected them? So Pelosi says Conyers got to go and Al Franken stays, even though there is a fifth accuser that has surfaced on Franken. Here is Nancy Pelosi from her press briefing just this morning. Reporters said a fourth woman has come out accusing Congressman Conyers and more in your caucus are calling on him to resign. How come you haven't called on him to resign?
The allegations against Congressman Conyers, as we have learned more since Sunday, are serious, disappointing, and very credible. It's very sad. The brave women who came forward are owed justice. I pray for Congressman Conyers and his family and wish them well. However, Congressman Conyers should resign.
And there you have it. White woman of privilege telling hospitalized black guy to scram. And I'll tell you what, John Conyers' lawyer just made a statement. He looks like he's from Nation of Islam, by the way. That's not a cut. I'm just advising you on his appearance if you haven't yet seen him. John Conyers' attorney said that Conyers will sure as hell not be pressured by a white woman of privilege to leave the House of Representatives. Well, he didn't say that. He said Pelosi. But we all know what they're thinking. John Conyers' attorney said Conyers will sure as hell not be pressured by Nancy Pelosi into resigning. Here's Pelosi, 23 soundbite. She had one other thing to say. And
there's a new day, and the courage of the women coming forward is something that is making a big difference, but also the attitude in the country, which I think some of it springs from the election of Donald Trump as president.
No. This has nothing to do with Trump. This has to do with you people on the left deciding that morality became an individual choice about 40 years ago. You people own this, Miss Pelosi. By the way, the attorney for John Conyers, we now have the audio. This was moments ago. He held a press conference defiantly suggesting that Conyers isn't going to quit.
First of all, it is not up to Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi did not elect the congressman, and she sure as hell won't be the one to tell the congressman to leave.
So the attorney for the ill African-American member of Congress told a white woman of privilege to cram it. She didn't elect him. and she's not going to have any say-so in whether or not he leaves Congress. And there are people saying that it really ought to be up to the voters. The voters put these people there. It ought to be up to the voters to determine what happens to them. But that's only something suggested when the people in trouble are Democrats. When it's Republicans that are caught in the crosshairs, we don't want to wait for the voters to decide. We're already going to blame the voters for sending this person there in the first place. And then the left comes forward with its deep devotion to ethics, morality, and says, for the good of the country and for the good of whatever else, the named Republican has to go. Congressman James Clyburn of the Congressional Black Caucasians is now denying that he ever said anything about Conyers shouldn't resign because his accusers are white women. He says he didn't say it, and what he's now suggesting Conyers should quit. So he's agreeing with the white woman of privilege in the House that the black guy in the hospital should go. Man, these Democrats are tough. I thought they cared about race. But the white woman of privilege, Pelosi, Pocahontas, whatever they say, everybody snaps to, tries to make it happen. Meanwhile, he found the accusers credible now. Clyburn found the accusers